Good morning, everybody. We are almost 10 minutes, well, just under 10 minutes to starting our free webinar. So if you're just joining us, then welcome to you. My name is Elliot. I'm the founder of Live for Tomorrow. You get to know a little bit more about me when we start.
Hey, I'm Lauren. I am the response lead for Live for Tomorrow chat. I've been around for about 8 months, which is super cool, part of this whānau, so yeah.
And I'm Andrew. I'm the manager of the Live for Tomorrow team, and I've been around for about three years in this role, with Elliot and the rest of the crew. Yeah,
so Live for Tomorrow, we're a youth organisation. Our mantra is care for others, look after yourself. So we're passionate about young people, passionate about mental health. It's a little bit about us. If you're just joining us, then welcome. Our webinar is starting in just under 10 minutes. Jump in the comments. We would love to, who's here, who's joining us today. We already have Cameron who's saying hi. Thanks Cameron for jumping on. I remember seeing you in our last webinar. So great to have you join us. Where in the world are you joining us from, Cameron? It would be great to hear if you're kind of local in New Zealand or if you're kind of somewhere else in the world. We've got a hi from Lana. Hi Lana, again jumping in from our last webinar. So great to have you with us. So we're starting in just under 10 minutes. If you're just jumping on, this is our 6-step guide to mental health conversations with youth. It's right behind me. So we're going to be getting into it really soon. And we're just pumped about being able to share this knowledge with everyone, because it's something that we've been working hard on for like a really, really long time. Yeah.
I was going to say hey to Sarah and to David. Where are you guys coming from? Really excited, just like Elliot, to get into everything, like share all this knowledge and our model with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, we've been working on this pretty hard for a little while, and we're excited just to share with you what some of the knowledge that we've kind of gained and kind of put together over the last few years, and just super exciting that we have people from all around the world who have registered and who are joining us live today.
Yeah, we totally do. So Sarah, you asked, she is from the UK.
Oh, hey Sarah,
right.
Where in the UK are you from? Tell me.
Yeah, we want to know, because Lauren, you are from...
I'm from Lancaster, which is very far north. Woo, yeah, exactly. Lancashire lass, as my mum would say. I've gone really northern, haven't I?
Cool. David is from Colombia. That is great. Welcome, really David. Cool. I don't think we've seen someone join us from Colombia in our webinar so far. So welcome to you.
That's incredible. If
you're just jumping on the stream, we are just under 7 minutes now before we crank into it. So this is our free webinar on 6-step guide to mental health conversations with youth. So it's this really easy to follow guide that we've been using in conversations with young people in over 55 countries through our helpline service, Live for Tomorrow chat. So we saw this opportunity to be able to kind of get this model out to more people, because we want to help young people, but then we thought, hey, let's help the helper as well. So welcome to you. If you're just joining, my name's Elliot. I'm the founder of Live for Tomorrow, who's kind of putting all of this thing on. And it's great to have you with us.
Yeah, I'm Andrew. I'm the manager of the Live for Tomorrow team. Co-founded this particular project with Elliot back in 2016, a little while ago now. But just super stoked to be sharing what we have with you today.
And I'm Lauren, for those who missed it. I am the response lead for Live for Tomorrow chat. I joined the team about 8 months ago. I kind of take care of our volunteers. So speaking of volunteers, for those of you who are joining us today at the start of potentially becoming a volunteer for Live for Tomorrow chat, welcome. We're really happy to have you here. Really keen to kind of open all of this up to you and show you what, if you decide to continue to volunteer with us, then like what your learning is going to look like, and some of the things that we use on shift, and just get sharing. We're excited if you can't tell.
Yeah, so we've had a few more people jump in. So Sarah is from Leicestershire?
Leicestershire, please.
Sorry?
Leicestershire.
All right, cool. I'll let you do
like
that.
Worcestershire.
Is that anywhere near where you're from?
It's in the Midlands, which is okay. It's okay to be from the Midlands. No, just kidding. Leicestershire's not too far away. I know a couple of people from there.
We have some Bruce from Somerset.
Somerset is far.
Okay.
Far. Yeah, I have a friend from Somerset.
Cool. And we have Giussi. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm pronouncing your name all wrong, from Italy.
Ooh, Italy.
Joining us. So yeah, welcome to you. Thank you so much for jumping on board. Under 5 minutes now before we get cranked into it. We are so excited to be able to share this webinar with you. So it's our 6-step guide to mental health conversations with youth. We feel like kind of a lot of the learning that exists out there around mental health and how to have these conversations either just kind of talks about that you should have them and kind of stops there, or it kind of seems quite inaccessible, like it's not easy to understand, or it's just like hard to access. So I guess that's why we thought, well, why don't we do a webinar that covers this, and we can get this knowledge out to people all around the world. And we have people from all around the world joining us. So we've got Michelle's jumped in from British Columbia.
Hey.
Teresa from Taranaki, which is a province here in New Zealand, actually where I'm from. So shout out to you, Teresa. Welcome to you. We are cranking into it in about 3 minutes. So this is our 6-step guide to mental health conversations with youth. If you're just joining us, welcome to you. We're really excited to be able to kind of jump into this content. Yeah.
It's going to be a great time. As we've said, we've been developing this kind of content over the last few years. It's really kind of the culmination of a lot of our work directly with young people and supporting them through times of real difficulty. But like Elliot said, we're just really excited to be able to, as well as do that and that kind of direct help, be able to help the helper and give you hopefully a few more kind of tips and tricks as to what we've used that we've found really helpful along the way.
So for each of us, we've all been kind of involved in youth development for quite some time. We'll kind of tell you a little bit more about that journey. And this model that we're using, which is kind of just sitting behind me here, we'll be going through it really soon, is a model that is evidence-based, is based on a kind of a whole bunch of research, and is also the model that we use in the conversations that we have with young people about mental health. So if you want to know, why does it matter? Well, we've had over 5,000 hours of conversations with young people about mental health using this approach. That's a lot of hours. And this is with young people, like not just in New Zealand where we're from, but we're actually talking to young people from over 55 countries. Where are some of the countries that we've talked to young people?
Well, it definitely includes Colombia. I know that for a fact. We have spoken to people in Puerto Rico, in Lebanon, in Kazakhstan, India, Australia,
Germany.
Germany. Syria.
Brazil,
the US, Argentina. There are 55 countries. I'm not sure we're going to have to name them all. Feels like a geography test. But yeah,
I think it feels like probably wherever you're from today, we've probably spoken to a young person in your country. At some point along the journey.
So if you're just joining us, we are starting in just under 2 minutes. We would love to hear from you. So jump in the comments. We can see them right here. We would love to hear where you're from, like your name and where you're from. And maybe as well kind of what's brought you here today. We know we have different audiences, some people that are working with young people, some people that are interested in becoming volunteers. This model that we look at is useful for all of those things. So whatever your context, this is something that you can use with your young people. It's going to be by the end of this webinar in your pocket for you to be able to kind of start using. So my name's Elliot. I'm the founder of Live for Tomorrow, which is a mental health organisation. We are passionate about caring for others and looking after ourselves, and we're passionate about young people and about mental health and providing them the right support. We want it to be like effective and easily accessible and evidence-based. So I'm Elliot.
I'm Lauren. I am the response lead for Live for Tomorrow Chat. So look after the volunteers, that sort of thing. And this is...
I'm Andrew. I'm the manager of the Live for Tomorrow team. Been around for a little while. Like Elliot said, we were just keen to be able to, whoever you are and whatever role you take, particularly if you're working with young people, whether you are a parent or a youth worker, youth pastor, outdoor instructor, anybody like that, we want to be able to give this to you. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we have had a whole bunch of new people jump into the live stream because we're just about to start. So yeah, if you are just joining us, then jump in the comments. We want to hear where you're from. So far, we've got people from Italy, UK. We're in the UK.
Leicestershire.
Yep.
Somerset.
Yeah, that's right, I think.
Yeah.
Colombia.
British Columbia, so Canada.
Yep. And New Zealand. So that's where we're from. We have Neville's just jumped in from Wellington. We have Lizzie from Invercargill.
Right.
We have Astrid joining us, who's living in the UK but is from Mexico. If you're just joining us, then jump in the comments. We'd love to hear where you're from. Solomon Islands. Man, we are just going all around the world here.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, Connecticut in the US. So these comments, we can see them right here. And
look at us just kind of like reaching the world. This is great.
Yeah,
I love it. Yeah.
And we have Devon's back.
Hey,
so
Devon.
So Devon's a friend of ours. If you're looking in the chat there, Devon's using another account, Tess Haig.
It's a little confusing.
It's a little confusing, but that is Devon. Kia ora to Josephine, joining us from Avondale, which is like literally 20 minutes drive from where we are right now. So we're going to crank into it. Keep those comments coming through. We can see them right here live. So every comment that you put in, we can see it. And so we can reference them once we're going through. And also at the end, we're going to have a space for Q&A to be able to field some of your questions. But keep it coming through. If you're just joining us, we'd love you to jump in the comments. We want to hear where you're from because we have people from all over the world jumping aboard this webinar.
That's pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah, so keen.
Yeah.
All right, should we get into it?
Let's do it.
Cool. So here at Live for Tomorrow, we believe that great conversations make change. Great conversations make change. There's so much discussion about mental health, but we kind of have felt like that's kind of ended at the point of just saying, oh, well, you should talk about it, or something that should be talked about. We kind of think that's actually a difficult thing to do.
And I think there's so many opportunities that come day to day, just for those little conversations that can be so supportive and make the difference for somebody's day in terms of their mental well-being and state of mind.
Yeah, so what this is about is we want to give you conversation level skills. So by the end of this webinar, you will have a 6-step guide to mental health conversations with youth in your pocket. You will have the 6-step guide and you will be able to grab it and use it. And we want to give that to you because, like I said, we believe that great conversations make change. So if we can help you with the conversations that you're having with young people, or if you become a Live for Tomorrow volunteer that you have with young people in over 55 countries, then this is the model that, we believe, we'll be doing that for you. So my name is Elliot. I just want to welcome you to this free webinar. We're really excited to have people joining us from all over the world. And so I guess we're just kind of like to introduce ourselves a little bit so you can kind of get to know us and our history and kind of what brought us here today. So, Andrew.
My name's Andrew. I'm the Live for Tomorrow manager. So you manage the team here. And I've been in this role for about 3 years. But prior to that, I started out my youth work career in residential care, state residential care, over 10 years ago. A couple of things that came out of that for me. One was just kind of seeing kind of the gap between the really intense pressures that come onto young people these days, and the gap between that and how they were actually resourced to deal with those pressures and the impact on their mental health as a result. Also, as a youth worker, you're just kind of like thrown into these situations, and you've got to be able to find a way to talk with young people, and it's not always that easy. And so, I kind of wish that I had some of these skills earlier on, and just to be able to make those interactions so much easier, more supportive, and a bit more intentional that way, I think. So, fast forward, and we've been able to really make this thing happen, and yes, as we've said, support young people in over 55 different countries through just conversations online, and that's phenomenal in terms of what I reckon.
So Andrew is an absolute legend. He has been working with young people in state care, like he said, and also managed a helpline here in New Zealand where he trained young people how to have conversations with other young people who were struggling, which I think is incredible. And yeah, he's going to be leading a bunch of this training. So really, really lucky to have Andrew with us. A couple of people have said that just struggling to kind of hear him. So we're working on the mic there. So yeah, if we improve that, just let us know, because we want to make sure that you are able to hear us. Cool, Lauren.
So hey everyone, my name's Lauren. I am the response lead for Live for Tomorrow chat. And so what that means is I support our supervisor team and our incredible volunteers who give up their time to speak with young people all over the world. My journey to Live for Tomorrow started way back sort of 8 years ago, almost 9 years ago, when I was a teacher in South Korea. I kind of observed a lot of the stress and strain that the young people in South Korea were under, the pressure to sort of achieve, and that kind of didn't sit right with me. And as a result of that, after my sort of year or so there, I moved back to the UK and delved right into youth work. I had no idea really what I was getting into, I suppose, but it's been quite a journey. And on that road, I've worked with young people in care too, young people, homeless young people, and then most recently, I led a team of youth workers here in Auckland, which was incredible, working on the ground with young people really struggling with their mental health. And now I'm here with this incredible bunch and really excited to just really make a difference in youth work in terms of offering something to you that, again, similarly to both Andrew and Elliot, I wish I'd had at the very beginning of my journey. Just want you to get involved, really.
Yeah, we're really lucky to have Lauren with us. Like she said, she's had experience working with young people from like a number of different countries. Both face-to-face, in lots of countries, and then also through our chat service, which supports young people in over 55 countries. So, we have people joining us from all over the place. Some of the comments coming in. Kamal's joining us again from Pakistan. Janet from the UK, Nikki from Canada, Gemma's coming out to us from Birmingham in England. So we have people from all over the world joining us. So welcome to you. My name is Elliot, so I'm the founder of Live for Tomorrow. We are a youth mental health organisation. Our mantra is care for others, look after yourself. We're passionate about young people, we're passionate about mental health, and we want to help you. We want to improve your skills in the conversations that you have with young people, and that's what this webinar is all about. It is our 6-step guide to mental health conversations with youth. By the end of this, you're going to have that 6-step guide in your pocket for you to be able to use with your young people. And this is a model that we've used with young people in over 55 countries. Stay with us right to the end, because we have a couple of special bonuses that we want to offer you if you stick around. So the first of those is that this model that we're presenting you, we have a beautiful piece of artwork that is an A3 poster that we want to give to you that you can use as a reference point. So this is something that you can kind of print out nice and big and put on your wall, so that you can remind yourself of the steps of this model in the conversations that you're having with young people. Do we have that poster somewhere?
We do have it.
Beside me here.
So I just want to say really quickly, we use this on shift, so it's something that we definitely reference all the time, and it allows us to go through the conversations, as you will very soon find out.
This is what we're going to be going through today and presenting to you. So we hope that you'll find it really awesome.
Yeah, so stick around to the end, because we will give you that bonus. We have another bonus for you, which is that we have a how to ask about suicide cheat sheet. And if you don't have this, oh my gosh, you need it, because it is so clear and straightforward, and it is based on evidence and best practice about how to ask about suicide and next steps with a young person. If you stick around to the end, we will give you a free download of that. So that's a couple of freebies. We have the really beautiful piece of art that explains this model and the how to ask about suicide cheat sheet. We'll be giving you the opportunity at the very end of the webinar to access those. So make sure you stick with us. Cool. So Andrew, can you tell us a little bit about how we came to kind of decide to kind of start offering this knowledge and training out to the world?
Yeah, and I think even just the origins of the model itself that we've kind of come to were kind of based on what we were seeing of a lot of young people experiencing really difficult times of distress and hardship. As well as that, a whole lot of people who had really strong relationships with those young people. So whether that was parents, youth workers, friends, peers, a lot of people who were in relationship with those people, but just didn't feel like they had the skills to be able to have some of those really important but sometimes difficult and awkward conversations with confidence. And so that's really what we wanted to be able to do, is to be able to bridge that gap between, if you have a good relationship with a young person, but don't always know what to say, or it might be a fear of saying the wrong thing. I think that can be a really something that we hear a lot from both parents and youth workers. And so, being able to bridge that gap is really what we want to be able to do today, and in the future with other training as well.
And what we have found that whilst it is most present, kind of like those difficulties between adult and youth sort of relationship, the skills that we're going to wisdom, we're going to impart on you, but the skills we're going to share with you today can be used across all of the relationships in your life. Like, we all have loved ones and friends that we maybe struggle to have a conversation with them about their mental health, about some difficult things going on in their lives. And this, for us, can be used in all aspects of your life, for sure.
And all of that, I'm sure that experience is familiar to you. Like,
totally.
Have you struggled in your support of young people? Do you have times when you're talking to a young person or someone else in your life and you're like, I want to help, but I'm just not sure how? Is that a place that you want to be improving your skills in? I know it is for me. It's something that I'm ever trying to improve. It's a journey. Conversation skills around mental health, is an art. But what's beautiful is that, like, there are a bunch of tools and skills that once you have them make a difference. That's what we're going to be presenting to you in this webinar, because we believe that great conversations make change, and so we want to help you have great conversations.
Yeah, and I think what Lauren alluded to just before was really important, that actually, some of this, I guess, it is a little bit of our wisdom, but also, what has really informed the model that we're presenting today, is so much kind of other knowledge and research from other giants in this kind of industry. So, we benefit from all of that knowledge that we've been able to gather. But also, I think what we're hoping to do is just add a little bit of our own experience and kind of mold that together into something that hopefully makes a bit of sense as we go along. One of the big things, though, was that so we did a survey recently of over 700 youth workers in New Zealand in particular. And what they told us was that actually these conversations with young people around mental health and just well-being in general, they're happening every week, every day. It's a really common thing. They're often very short conversations, less than half an hour. And so, I think those conversational level skills are so important, but are not often kind of taught or given across easily.
I think we're often expected to just be able to do it. It's just a conversation, right?
That's right. You should be able to talk, right? You're a human, but it's not always that easy.
Absolutely. I think something else that our model is based upon, and some research that we've done at Live for Tomorrow, is survey in New Zealand, with youth in New Zealand, and what they told us, the last one we did was 2018, what they told us was that they are really open to these conversations with adults, and adults starting the conversations about their mental health. The important thing is obviously to make them feel safe, secure and heard. Those are the sort of, they're able to talk about that stuff if they feel like that, but they're really open, and I think for me that's really affirming. It's like, go do it. Like, if they feel open to it, then we should be doing it.
And we talk to young people all over the world where we reach out to them, and they come back to us and they want to have those conversations. So with the right skills, we can help. I want to share with you 3 principles that we believe here at Live for Tomorrow, so you know where we're kind of coming from with this training. So the first of those is that we really believe that you need another human on the journey with you. Research shows that actually that human to human connection, that makes a difference. And so we believe that, when you're struggling, you need another human. And so that's why we do the work we do. Everything's based around like trying to increase the amount of humans that have skills and can help people. You're a human, you're walking alongside young people. We believe that you can make an incredible difference. So that's kind of one of the first foundational principles that we believe. The second is that we believe that more needs to be done to help the helper. So we want to increase the amount of support that happens of young people. But one thing we recognise is that a whole bunch of people are working with young people, but there's this kind of gap in supporting them. And so, if we can help the helper, then we're going to make a bigger difference to young people. So that's why we're doing this. I mean, we are reaching so many people all around the world. So that's our kind of second principle, is that we want to help the helper, and that's why we're doing this. And the third is that you don't have to be a clinician to make a difference. You just have to care. You don't have to be a clinician, so like a counsellor or a psychologist. Often when it feels like mental health, it feels like we have to kind of pull into the big guns. Our experience is that with some simple tools and skills in your pocket, you can be someone that makes a difference as well. So we're really excited to be able to share those with you.
Yeah, and I think it's not about making you the counsellor, but it is about being able to enhance the really good relationships that you already have with young people in your life, or as Lauren said, with anybody in life really, and just some of those really simple skills to make that supercharged.
So for those of you who missed it earlier, or sort of before we started, this model and the project Live for Tomorrow has come from over 3 years of work. This is where we're up to, over 5,000 live hours of conversations with young people, and kind of 30 years combined of experience working with young people, mental health, that sort of thing. And as Elliot said, we started by providing that direct help, but really recognised that helping the helper is what we also want to do. The more of you that we can help feel like they're skilled up even more, the more young people you will be able to go and help. And that is at the heart of what we do. The young people, rangatahi,
So I'm going to jump out in a moment. Andrew and Lauren are going to be leading our training today. Before I do that, I just want to acknowledge the couple of audiences that we have here with us, so you know kind of how this works for you. So the first of those audiences is we have people joining us who work with young people from all over the world. So these people, whether you're a youth worker or a youth leader or a pastor or a mentor or a foster carer or a parent or a coach, and you want to improve your support with young people. And so this webinar, it's for you because we want to give you this model so you can do that. Our second audience is we have people joining us today who are interested in becoming volunteers with Live for Tomorrow Chat, which is our online chat service all around the world. This is vital for you as well because this is the model of conversations that we use in the conversations that we have with young people all around the world. And this is the start of your journey. So if you want to be a volunteer, then that's why this is essential as well. Cool. So we're going to jump into it. I'm going to pop out and Andrew and Lauren are going to kind of take you through this incredible content, and then I'll be back at the end to tell you about some exciting things we have coming next and to offer you those free bonuses that you get if you stick around.
Cool. So what we're going to dive into today and cover in the next kind of half an hour or so, or maybe a little bit longer, is our key model of conversations. And so what that's called is called the guide and the traveller. It's a metaphor for how those conversations progress. It is up on our chart behind Elliot, so we'll be getting into that and diving in really shortly. That's going to cover things like some of the really core little micro skills that we use every day that are going to be really helpful in terms of your own conversations. It looks at some of the essential skills for being able to talk through really difficult topics. You'll all know that moment when suddenly a conversation gets really hard. Sometimes it's awkward or just feels really difficult. So some of the key skills there, and how and why we kind of co-create meaningful next steps with young people, and that key word is co-create there. So that's what we're going to do. Hopefully, right at the end there might be a bit of time for Q&A, depending how we go. Otherwise, if you've got questions in the meantime, just fire them through on the comments. We'd love to look at those if we can.
Cool, great. Well, I'll leave Andrew and Lauren to it. I'll be in the comments joining you, answering any questions that you have in the immediate. This is going to be great. I'll see you guys soon.
Sounds great, cool.
See ya. All right.
It's just us now. Great.
Should we do this?
Let's, take us there, Lauren.
Okay. So, first of all, we need to introduce you to our model, right? So, hopefully you can see my beautifully drawn model behind me, which is called the Guide and the Traveller, as Ellie and Andrew have both said. Our model is an analogy of taking a path, an imaginary path, up a mountain and down a mountain. So, as you can see, it is here. And the reason we call it the Guide and the Traveller is because in a conversation there are two people, sometimes more, but for our purposes there are two. So the guide is you, so all of you out there who are wanting to support another person, and the traveller is the person who maybe needs a guide, maybe needs someone to be with them, be alongside them in their journey up and down our mountain.
Yeah, and I think the important thing for us there has always been looking at the equality within that relationship. So sometimes with in a helping relationship, it can become a little bit unbalanced between the helper and the person who's perhaps needing some help. For us, it's really important that that's a much more equal thing, and I think the bonus of this kind of metaphor of guide and traveller going up and down a mountain is that to get up and down the mountain, you can't just do that alone. You need the other person, whichever role that you're in. And so, whoops, I just lost my papers. That's no good. So being able to have the back and forth between each role is really important there.
Yeah, and as you are like the guide and as the guide, you have a pack on your back, and you have some skills in there that you may have picked up from going up this mountain yourself, and it's all around kind of sharing those things and starting a conversation, which is the key thing for us.
Yeah, and so maybe you are a person who has been up and down that mountain a couple of times before, and so you kind of have an idea of what the pathway might be, and what that's going to entail, how long that could take, how to get to the next stage, or you might just be a bit further down the development track than the person you might be helping.
What is really important to just add in here is that the journey is never going to be the same for either person. So whether you are the guide, whether you're the traveller, whoever you are in this scenario, it's never going to be the same. It's going to be different. There might be similarities, like Andrew said, but yeah. Yeah,
there's no one way of having this conversation, because each scenario is going to be so different, and what is going to be meaningful for each person, as you'll know, it just changes from person to person.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Shall we get into it? I guess want to take us there with our first
element. So before we kind of head to point one here, there's something that happens before, okay? So we call this stage getting prepared.
It's really important.
It's really, really important. It's kind of like setting the scene, I suppose, in a way. So what's important and what the goal is of this step is that the traveller feels welcome, safe and secure, okay? And this includes even when they see you from a really, really far distance. So imagine they see you like already somewhere on the mountain, I suppose. Leaning into the analogy of our mountain path. And it's really, really vital that they feel ready to start this conversation. And the key to this is what we refer to as unconditional positive regard. So for me, and the background of this is that you meet the person on the mountain or before the mountain exactly where they are. So they feel that you are completely open to them whatever stage of their journey they are at.
That's right, and I think you will all know that both for yourself and for young people in your life, they kind of pick up on those things really quickly. So even from your body language, just how you hold yourself, your facial expressions, all of that. Someone that may benefit from you as a guide. If they're not seeing that you are that open and accepting of them and their stage wherever they may be at straight away, then that can be quite a hindrance to forming a really great conversation. One of the other things that we look at there is a sense of having empathy. That's a massive way to kind of begin a conversation, and you guys will know a lot about empathy already, but I think we look at it as we take an analogy of wearing shoes, and so you will most likely have worn shoes at least once in your life. Most of us wear them every day. But you'll have an idea of what it means to kind of put on shoes, tie up the laces. You'll know what it's like if you've kind of got the wrong size or the laces are too tight. And then you may see somebody else with either a different kind of style or size of shoe or a colour that you just wouldn't have gone with at all. The point is, though, that you as another human have an idea of what it's like to go through that. You may not know exactly what it is to be in their shoes, but you have an idea of what your own response is to be, what would be to those situations, and which means that you may be able to relate to what they're going through as well.
So to kind of like summarize this step, I suppose, and sort of before we like head up on our pathway up the mountain, the really big things we need to sort of remember is unconditional positive regard. So you are meeting that person exactly where they are on their journey. There's no judgment. They feel safe. They feel secure. And the other thing is keeping the focus on them. So it's their story, which we find is really vital. We'll kind of go into that a little bit later though, too.
Totally. And so you'll see on the outline here we have our 6 different stages are numbered, and so we're going to be moving around our little ellipsis here through those different stages as we go. So shall we start at number 1?
Absolutely.
So we've met the traveller. We are the guide. We've met the traveller along the path at the bottom of the mountain. We say hello and do all the pleasantries, but part 1 is called the invitation. And the goal here is that the traveller feels welcome, safe and secure. Similar to the last stage, but I guess this is a much more proactive part. You're actually kind of speaking now, and that's really important. So we also look at once you have met, what does the traveller notice about you? So you might have a big kind of tramping pack on your back. You might have really good hiking boots. Those things just kind of those are the skills and tools that you might be able to demonstrate that tell the traveller that actually you maybe know where you're going, that you've been here before.
One of the things that is really important is understanding why we should be inviting, so why we should be extending that invitation into the conversation. And we really believe, and from experience, being proactive can help start those conversations. You do need to have the skills that we kind of talked about. You need to have a little bit of experience, but not heaps. Your own is what's important to as a very sort of beginning, and which kind of leads us into one of my favourite elements, I suppose, of our model and what we really lean into as a team, and that is radical genuineness.
Yeah, and I think it's radical genuineness kind of just invites us to be ourselves. I think sometimes, particularly when working with young people, I know that I've felt in the past that I needed to kind of put on a certain way of being or a way of speaking. That wasn't really so natural to me, but actually that just goes in the opposite direction for what a young person picks up of. They want you to be authentic. They want to be able to relate to who you are. I think that's so important. Was there anything else that you really like about that kind of word?
The ability that within that to be honest about your own feelings, like owning what's going on for you. And your own experience. Like I think I mentioned that a lot already, but I feel like that is something that we don't value maybe as highly as other qualifications, I suppose, in our world. But I think it really opens up conversations when you are truly yourself. And we have found that from implementing this with our volunteers.
Exactly. And I guess that to sum up that kind of part, we call this this stage the invitation, because that's really what it needs to be, is a proactive invitation from you as the guide to them as the traveller, to have this conversation. Because, you know, actually asking, you know, as the traveller, if you're really struggling with something, asking for help or starting that conversation can be so difficult, you know, when it feels like your head is on fire, or your brain is on fire, and just everything is so confusing and intense. It's not really how we're wired to kind of then sit back and say, actually, maybe I need help, I'll ask for it. It's not always the rational thing that we're able to do. And so, you as a guide, being able to make that invitation really clearly and specifically is hugely important. What that leads us, though, is into consent.
Yeah. So consent is key. You may, and which definitely has happened to me, have sort of held out a hand to someone and said, hey, like, do you want to talk about this? Is this where you want to go? Do you want to have a conversation? And they said no, and that's okay. And I think that's why this part is an invitation. It's not we're sitting down and we're doing this, because it just doesn't allow for a natural and honest conversation to happen.
Which is hard, though, right? Because I think you might have been in a position where you've seen that somebody is in a lot of pain, you know, emotionally, or just has some real needs that you might be able to help with, allowing them to say no is hugely important. But that's really hard when you know that you might be able to offer something, but they don't want to take it. But unless they're in a stage where they feel able to take it, then it's not going to have any impact anyway, or the impact that you want anyway. So that consent is huge.
Yeah. And I think what's really powerful, I want to make sure we get across just before we kind of move on to our next step, is that just asking is sometimes enough, because you've put the invitation out there, and that means if they are ready to open up the conversation, they know that you are someone they can come to because you've offered.
That's right. They know where to find you. They know what's on offer if you're really specific about that. Yeah. And allowing them to come back to you and choose their distance and time is really important.
Yeah. Super powerful stuff. Okay.
So we've made the invitation.
We have.
We'll assume that this person that we've met has said, yep, really keen to chat about it. Where do we go next?
We are going to head up the mountain behind this little rock. And so this is part 2. Part 2 is called Let's Go. And the goal here is to have the current pain or distress heard and discussed, which is a key thing there for us, that discussion. So we will talk about this a lot, but that equality in conversation and as we move up and down the mountain is really vital. So what is it that we do in this step?
Well, we kind of focus on collaboration here, and so the goal is to be able to it's recognizing that I guess the other person is the expert in their own experience and journey, and what's going to be most meaningful for them. So being able to collaborate to kind of find what's actually going to be meaningful and helpful, regardless of what we think it's going to be. What's going to be important for that young person. That's what we aim for in this step.
Yeah. So how do we do that? So we do that by evoking. And by evoking, we mean getting that information and that their expertise from them, getting them to share that with you. We don't want you to force them to tell you, but there are definitely ways that we will share with you of sort of how you can do that. So what's really important is that this part, evoking, allows the other person to clarify the details and kind of start to form some insight about their own situation. And you're doing that with them, obviously. If this is the first time you've had this kind of conversation, it's kind of setting the scene and giving you a little bit of context about what's going on for them.
That's right, and the important thing here is time. Sometimes it feels like we have to rush through and get to the important part, but actually spending some time to evoke and really draw out what's going on for that person, and what's going to be meaningful is super important to be able to do. If you're familiar at all with motivational interviewing, this might be familiar to you, and so the way that we do that and get that collaboration and evoking is through some really key kind of counselling micro skills. Those are things like open and closed questions, which hopefully you guys kind of know what those are already. Affirmations, really just being able to celebrate the strengths of somebody else. Reflecting meaning, and so looking for what is said but not said, and reading between the lines, essentially, and summarising, and so being able to actually pull all of the story together for somebody. There's a bunch of other micro skills that we do use, which we'd love to take you through at another point, but we don't have time for that today. What I do want to just note here is that what these first two stages really speak to is belonging, and belonging is a huge part of what sits underneath all of the work that we do. And what that often speaks to is, when you don't feel belonging, you feel that either no one cares enough about me to kind of take the time, or I have nobody to care about. And so the bonus of this part is that actually it shows the young person or whoever it is that you're taking the time, that they are worth your time to speak to, and being radically genuine, they can kind of relate to you as a human as well, and give that back a little bit too.
Yeah, so that, I think the key words are around acceptance. They feel accepted by you, and may even start to feel that sense of belonging because someone cares about them. So to summarise very quickly, just so that we're going back over, what do we do at this step? We collaborate. We collaborate with the person to draw out what might be meaningful for them within this conversation. We do that by evoking, and so drawing out what is going on for them. And we do that with our key motivational interviewing skills, which Andrew mentioned. Yeah. Nice.
And so that leads us into the next stage. So we've kind of been able to hear some of the story. We've taken the time to do that well and draw out that information. We move to step 3, and what we've labelled this is that this step is called "It's Really Hard," and what that reflects is that actually sometimes we get the feeling that there's something else going on here, and that we need to either ask about. It might feel difficult or awkward to ask about. Or the person that you're talking to has just kind of let you know about it anyway, and you kind of you're landed with this kind of massive thing that they have disclosed to you. How do you deal with that, and how can you speak well through that without kind of just either glossing over it or rushing through it?
Difficult topics are gonna come up. Whatever those difficult topics are, and I think one of the most important things is to recognise as the helpers, I guess, as the guides, is that you don't have all the solutions, and you don't have all the answers to their questions or their problems that have got going on, and you definitely aren't expected to fix them, which We've talked about this quite a lot within our team and outside of our team, that our natural human instinct is to want to fix a problem. Like if someone is feeling rubbish, you immediately want to kind of wrap them up in a blanket and help them feel better. That's not kind of what we would guide you towards, I suppose.
That's right, and I think that comes back to that equality piece that we're talking about, that actually sometimes all you need is knowing that someone's going to be alongside you on that journey, that they don't necessarily have all the answers for you, because you actually need to explore those yourself, but to have someone to help you explore, who might have been on a similar journey before perhaps, or at least knows some good paths to go down, that's the key. I
think as well as the helper, and I've definitely experienced this myself, is it might impact your own pain. And that's something that you need to be really aware of as the person starting or inviting someone into this conversation and kind of going up the mountain with them, is that you might well be triggered by the sort of the difficult topics that they might be discussing. that is okay. But we just kind of want to highlight that you need to be aware of that. And if you are, then being honest and finding sort of additional support within that.
Yeah, hugely important. And so I guess related to that is just to mention that, a big part of our focus is on moments where people might be thinking about suicide or self-harm.
Yeah.
We're not really going to dive into that today because that's a kind of a whole nother skill set. But those are really important conversations that we do want people to feel confident to have. There are things like the little cheat sheet that if you get to the end of this webinar you'll be getting for free if you haven't already. That kind of leads us into the next part because I think that part can often feel like the steepest section of the mountain, right?
Yeah, definitely. You'll be clambering up some rocks, and using silence definitely is the thing that I'm fond of in conversations to allow someone the space to talk, which definitely leads us that little bit further up our mountain. So we're going to go right to the top.
All right.
Which is definitely not the end because it's only step 4. But we kind of, what we've called this step, this sort of part on our mountain is what a view. And the reason that we've called it that is because our goal is around sort of evoking and sharing sort of meaningful insights on the journey so far. And it can be around what the key is around sort of it's appropriate and it's helpful to kind of help us move back down the mountain. Now this step, before we get started, you can dive between 3 and 4 a little bit sometimes. That's okay. But this is where I get lots of warm fuzzies and feels, I guess, especially when we're talking to our young people online, and we can really support them to reflect on what's happened, not just in our conversation, but what's happened before for them.
And I think sometimes we get stuck in that journey up the mountain, and we just feel like we still have to be talking about the difficult things. But actually, being able to stand on top, have a bit of a bird's eye view of where you've come already. What are the paths that you've taken, and why did you take those paths? Being able to reflect on that, notice some of the strengths that the traveller had along the way, but then being able to kind of turn towards what is to come next. Because that's where you are really going to come in strongly as the guide. Being able to have a view to kind of lay out some of the different paths, that could be taken, and help the traveller to actually select what that might be. Yeah,
and this bit can be really difficult. So the reason why it can be difficult is because maybe you could see a bunch of the different options and solutions. Maybe you can see the paths that they can take. Maybe you've taken a particular path yourself. So you're like, go down this path, it'll be fine. That is definitely, we don't want to force anyone down any path. And this is where implicit listening comes in, and something, again, that tests, I think, your... well, for me at least, it tests kind of my want to jump in and fix, and what this allows us to do is that implicit listening is to kind of summarize back and reflect back, and it sounds like I'm putting a mirror up to them, but sometimes that's kind of what it is. It's kind of we're having these conversations, and to kind of the summaries are often around the strengths and the achievements and how far this person has come, and I guess what does that do for the young person?
Well, I think it's starting to generate a bit of hope. Hope that things won't always be the way that they are now. That young person might have a bit of power in themselves to kind of chart their course. Yes, with you as perhaps as a help and guide, but you're not always going to be able to be there, and so being able to allow that young person to look forward and survey the landscape, and make some good choices for themselves as to what's going to be meaningful. I think it's hugely important.
I think one of the really big things that may come across at this point when you're reflecting is maybe what they feel is a lack of options. around that feeling of burdensomeness. So feeling like they're too much for someone, that in order to move forward, they can't do that because they don't feel like, they're too much for someone, essentially.
And that's the power of listening, right? Is that what you're telling that person, and the way that you reflect and all of that is that they are worth listening to. That their story is worth something, and that kind of help in the shift kind of going forward as well. Then kind of once we've kind of surveyed what those different paths might be, and you might have got the traveller to come up with some of those different paths themselves once they've been able to have a good view. An important part of our model is being able to kind of select one of those to kind of move towards. It doesn't have to be the right path right now, or kind of the one that's going to solve everything for them, but one that feels both achievable and meaningful to that traveller. So that's where we move down into part number 5. So from there what we have labelled this is that we'll reach the bottom soon. So we've kind of chosen a path to start down. It may not be the fix all, but this is what we're going to do. We're going to move towards this and see what happens. We can always choose a different path afterwards. The goal here is that meaningful actions or a next step is identified and agreed upon. An important thing here is that it can be the smallest possible achievable step. It does, you might have surveyed, how far away the goal is, but the aim of these conversations is to be able to enable that young person to just take that first step, because once they've taken that, they're probably more likely to take the next one, and be able to take steps with, once you're no longer there.
And the smallest most meaningful step to them, it really is minute at times, but it will probably feel quite big. I think the examples that we often use and we encourage is things like sending a text message, potentially, to let someone else know that they're feeling like this, because that next step could be, that person supports them, they have a conversation with that person and they move down the line, and but it has to be small, and it really ideally comes from them, I think.
That's right, and I think because this is a stage where it can be easy to get stuck in a bit of a loop of actually the goal seems so far away. We need to take massive steps to get there. I don't think I can do that. It's going to be too much, and so being able to break that down into something really small, and just giving it a go. It doesn't have to work. We can always come back and choose a different step later on, but taking that first step and giving it a go is the important thing. And so the kind of checklist of things that we look through to kind of help to make that happen is identifying a particular person or pathway for support. So it might be just someone that they trust in their lives. It could be a particular group or community. Agree on that action or goal, that you've reached an agreement on what that is, and hopefully something meaningful to them.
And agree on the smallest next step to take towards it. So whatever that little thing is. And I think the next thing might seem a bit, when I first came across it, I was a bit like, oh, is this what we're going to get people to do? And it's about rehearsing what the next step is going to be. And so often for us in our work in Live for Tomorrow chat, that is literally a young person will type out what they are going to send in a text message, or a conversation they're going to have, or whatever that is. What that really helps to do is solidify that next step and make it seem achievable, whilst also I feel like empowering that person to take that next step.
Indeed, and so we come to kind of the end of the model where we've agreed on that next step. We're enabling the traveller to kind of give that a go, and so we reach the bottom of the mountain, and this is one of my most favourite parts of the whole model. So part 6 is what we call base camp. So you can see, I don't know if you can see that, but it's a beautiful tent and a fire I've drawn there. And so what's really important about this part of the model is that the other person feels that meaningful interpersonal connections are possible. We haven't
just used a thesaurus and chosen those words. We've chosen them very specifically. That word meaningful and interpersonal, and that connection between you feeds into the things we were talking about belongingness, not feeling like you're a burden on someone, feeling that it's okay to be supported by someone else. What you have got is not too much. Like what you've got going on isn't too much for somebody else.
That's right, and I think it allows the traveller to choose their distance from you as well. And I think that it can be a really hard thing, kind of letting go as the helper. That actually you want to see this person succeed, but it's hugely important for that sense of autonomy and kind of self-direction or self-determination, that they're able to choose their distance. And so they might kind of have experienced your kind of help and your guidance, and that's all that they need. They might kind of hang around for a bit longer. They might even want to become the guide themselves eventually, and with generosity kind of use that to help somebody else as well. But the important thing is to be able to give that choice and power over to them to choose their distance from you and the whole system. So that's it. Like that's the model that we use, and obviously there's a lot more that kind of goes into this, and a lot of complexity in terms of what we're going to talk about next. We want to be able to give you more of that and take you through it much more in depth than we have been able to today. But we hope that you've seen what that model is and what it can be. As we said, if you are here to the end, you'll be getting this handy little poster for free as well, which will just a nice visualization of the different stages of that.
I think I kind of want to reflect, because just on sort of my experience, our experience, I suppose. So we've kind of, for me, I've walked in from face-to-face youth work, and using the model in a text-based sort of approach with supporting our young people online, which is totally different. But I want to sort of just make sure it's really clear that I use this in all aspects of my life. I use it not just with our young people, with some of the young people in our youth centres, but kind of with my friends and family, which I'm sure you're going to pick up on it now if you're watching, which is good. But it's allowed me to step back and be more empathetic, allowed me to really open up conversations for people and keep the focus on them, which is really hard, I think. No, that makes me sound very selfish. I don't mean it like that. But and I joked yesterday that I use it with strangers sometimes, like just kind of throwing it in. If someone's having a really rubbish day, like it gives me confidence to ask and check in with them, and that's what I love. Like I love it so much.
Yeah, I think that's really important actually. That though we're kind of framing this as a you might be in a helping kind of profession or relationship, but really just being able to have great conversations and empathetic and supportive conversations with whoever you come across. That's the goal, right? Like to just be able to be a better human in the world, and kind of have make people feel good about the journey that they are on.
And empower them, and that's I think what we try and do. So
Indeed. So hope you got a lot out of that. So definitely chuck any other comments or questions in the comments part of the feed. We're going to invite Elliot back now, I think, because what we want to be able to do is tell you about what's next, what's coming up. We've got some really cool things that we want to be able to share with you, and Elliot's going to speak a bit more to that. Following that, if we do have a bit of time, we'll try and get to a bit of Q&A. We'll just see how we go. But welcome back, Elliot. How's it been?
Well, that was awesome.
Thanks.
You guys were great. Love to hear how everybody found that. I was jumping in the comments. Lots of great insights. In particular, a lot of people like what we were talking about, or what you were talking about that kind of need to fix, and kind of resisting that need, so we can hear the story, make sure that we're bringing value out, for what's most meaningful for that person, rehearsing that so they're kind of bonded to that, and that being the most meaningful next step. I feel it, I get you. We all have that instinct, and that's where, learning these skills, being a part of a community of people that, are wanting to do it together and practicing it is so important.
Absolutely.
So if you have kind of a standout insight from what we've just covered, please jump in the comments because we would love to hear that standout insight. We have some questions already that people have sent through that we are going to cover. If you have questions that are burning on your mind as well, then note those down because we'll cover them at the end. Cool. So wow, that was just like a deluge of information. I want to ask you the question. If there was a way for us to be able to continue this conversation, if we were able to, take some of what we've looked at and dive into it further, is that something that you would be interested in? Is that something that you would want? When you think about your support of young people and your passion to care for them, or thinking about even wanting to do more of that, say through Live for Tomorrow Chat, or wanting to kind of get into supporting young people and, like Lauren said, others in your life, is that something that you want? Do you want more of this? The reason I ask you that is because we've actually been working on a really incredible opportunity that we're really excited about, and this is the first time we've ever told anyone. So the fact that you're with us for this moment is really, really special to us. Thank you for being here with us for that moment. So where this has come from is, like we've talked about throughout this whole webinar, is that we've been helping young people. I've been doing that for over 10 years, and Andrew and Lauren as well. We've got like 30 plus years experience between us. We run this online service, speaking to young people from over 55 countries. We're passionate about young people, but we saw this huge gap in being able to help the helper. We thought, well, if we can provide better help to people who work with young people, then that's going to help young people more. And to be honest, that's what I care about. That's why I do this. I want to get more help to young people. So many young people I journey with that struggle in all kinds of ways. Whether it is with something happening in their family, or anxiety or depression, or self-harm struggles, or suicidality, or just even trying to figure out what they're supposed to do with their life.
That's right, and though kind of we want to fix it all, we know that we just can't. There's not enough of us here, and so I think a massive part of our passion is being able to feel like we can enable others to really have supportive conversations with people in their lives, right? Yeah,
that's right, and so all of that kind of passion, we have put that all together and been working really hard to be able to present you something that we hope you will be interested in. And I see that we've already got a bunch of people jumping in the comments and saying yes, I want more. In particular, one person has said, be useful to put some meat on the bones of the outlines you have given. What we're going to tell you about it is exactly that. It's a great way of summarizing it. It is the meat on the bones that we have given you. And so what we have done, we've taken all our learning and all this experience that we collectively have, and our experience supporting young people in so many different contexts and all around the world, and we are building that into an online membership. So you might be familiar with online memberships, you might be now, but basically what that is it's an opportunity for you to supercharge your mental health support. So what we're billing it as is a comprehensive toolkit to transform your skills in mental health support. So we've worked really hard on that line because we believe that that's what we're giving you. It's comprehensive, it's a toolkit, and it will transform your skills in youth mental health support. What we are calling it is Live for Tomorrow Guides. So if you think of this model of the guide and traveller, it is people that want to come together and say, hey, I want to be better at being a guide. I work with young people, or I want to be a volunteer with Live for Tomorrow. I want to be a guide and I want to improve in these skills. What we're going to do is basically tell you about kind of what's in that. Then if you're interested, to give you the opportunity to jump on board with it.
Get into it, yeah.
Cool. So I guess some of the things that, problems that we're trying to solve with this is we really feel like often people feel isolated in the support that they're offering young people. So we want to kind of help people step out of that isolation and into a network. We often feel like a bunch of the information that out there is really old. I was overhearing one of our volunteers last night talk about a training they did where just all the research and knowledge was just from a long time ago. And so it's just not up to date. and things are kind of always changing, and we think there's better ways to be able to get that out into people's hands, and also for it to be like ready when you need it, not to be some training that you took like a year ago.
Yeah, and I mean, I think particularly if you are supporting young people, we do a lot of work online and through social media, but even that changes every 6 months or so, and so we really feel that knowledge and kind of good research needs to be recent and relevant, and actually going to be really useful for who you are meeting in the moment.
Yeah, that's right. And so there's that. We just want it to be up to date. And then another is, man, have you ever felt overwhelmed in doing this work? Do you ever feel like you don't know what to say? Do you ever feel like you just want to be able to kind of reach out for support and get another perspective? Man, that has been me so many times. And so,
we're here for you, man.
Thank you. Yeah. So, like our volunteer team and our crew, like, this is why we do this all together, because we really believe in like being in this together and not just being like one person. So we want to help move you from overwhelmed to calm and confident in your decisions. That we know that if we increase your skills and give you the opportunity to practice them, then you're just going to feel more confident. Like when you first start playing the piano, it's like you're not going to do a piano recital in front of thousands of people.
I'm just thinking back to my own piano lessons, and that didn't go so well.
Yeah, it's not going to happen, right? But if you practice and you have a community of support, then you can get great at it. And so that's what we want to do, but for youth mental health support. And then lastly, we feel like a lot of the way that people learn at the moment, or a lot of the way this learning is offered, is kind of in these kind of often like one-day courses. All this is kind of crammed into a day. It's like this information overload, and you soon forget it. Like the next day, you're like, what did I even just learn? And it kind of, you go away with this kind of booklet that you don't end up revisiting, and it doesn't end up actually creating value for you, and then actually, making a difference to the young people that you work with. We kind of think that's a bit dumb, like, to be honest. Like, we think we can do better. And so what we've built gives you the opportunity to learn at your pace, instead of like crammed courses that you soon forget. So I guess that's kind of some of the behind the scenes of like how we've thought about this. All of those things, those have actually come from research we've done with youth workers. So we've talked with countless youth workers saying like, hey, this is a thing we're building. How do you think we can make it as best as possible? And that's what we've come up with. So now we're going to tell you about what's inside. So first off, this has been a live video webinar. We're going to be bringing you more of that. This is weekly released videos. They'll be a lot shorter than this, so it's really accessible content, and you can decide kind of what you need to look when you need to look at it. We want to basically offer you this in a really accessible way where you could kind of like, either binge it all or like take bites and kind of learn at your own pace.
Sorry.
What I was going to say is what I really love about this is that it's that regularity. So whether it's fortnightly, whether it's monthly, there's going to be new content on there. And as Andrew said, things change, topics change, what young people are going through changes, the issues they're facing. So we want it to be really up to date, and that's definitely something I've had from my own experience, is that doing these courses and I've just forgotten them, and so to have something there that I can also just go back to and check in with is really vital.
Yeah, and I think if like me, if you've been working in a helping profession, you often end up, there's always more work to do, right? Like, and you often just get there's so much to do day to day. It feels really hard to take a whole day for a course, and so being able to just do it in that half an hour that you might find yourself with a bit of spare time, being able to just like look at something that's going to help you to step back and reflect and just kind of add to your knowledge kind of toolkit. That flexibility, I think, is what we really wanted to be able to give across,
Yeah, and Bruce has jumped in the comments and said, just would really love like this learning that we're bringing to be really to the point and quick. That's exactly what it's going to be. So we've set ourselves a goal that basically no kind of video that we're going to be producing for this is going to be over 10 minutes in length. And most of them will be a lot shorter than that. And so that gives you the opportunity to feel like you're really pacing through the content and kind of getting it when you need it. So I guess when we talk about like what value that might provide, like when you're thinking about taking a one-day course in mental health, some of you may have taken them. In our experience, that can cost like a couple of $100 a day.
At least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at least. I mean, I know ones in New Zealand that go up to $700, which is just, a lot of money. And so we're going to be packing days of video content into this thing as we go forward. As I said, we're going to be releasing new stuff every week. And so in total, there's about like probably $600 worth of video content value that we're kind of shoving into this membership, which is really, really exciting. It doesn't just stop though at the video lessons. We have another great feature that we want to talk to you about, and some of you might have already experienced this. And it is the empathy bot. So if you haven't tried the empathy bot, man, you got to. Basically what this is, it's a chat bot that mimics real life conversations with young people and gives you feedback as you go. We did a whole walkthrough in the webinar. If you want to watch it, you can just scroll down on this page and check it out. And the empathy bot, basically takes those skills and puts them to practice. Because head knowledge is one thing, right? But like putting it to work is another. Yeah. So often don't feel like you have an opportunity to do that, to practice and to like try things and to get it wrong and improve. Empathy bot basically solves that problem.
Well, yeah, because sometimes you jump into those conversations with a young person and it's really full on, and you think, man, I don't want to say the wrong thing. I want to be, coming across well. What empathy bot gives you is the opportunity to do that in a low risk environment that you can kind of explore some of the different choices that you might say of things that you might say, and nothing's going to be wrong. It's not going to have impact on a live young person. Except for when you then are later able to transfer those skills into your own conversations.
What I really love about it is like the ability to reflect as you go, and like you get feedback from the empathy bot, which is really great. Yellows affirmations, which we are a massive fan of in this team, if you didn't already know that. I think it's something that it's one of those things I really wish I'd had right at the beginning when I first started out in youth work, because I do remember being scared a lot, like starting conversations with young people who felt like a different breed. And even though I wasn't that, I was still technically a young person. True. I felt sort of really distanced from them. And so it would have just kind of, that kind of phrase of supercharging my conversations, it would have really helped with.
Yeah, I mean, we've had people test this empathy bot, like youth workers and people who manage youth workers, and are just like, oh my gosh, like I need more of this. Like whenever anyone uses it, they're hungry for more. If you want to check it out, just scroll down and open the webinar that's interactive conversation practice on this page, and you can kind of basically see what it is. That's a collaborative one. We're basically giving this empathy bot straight into your hands, and it's not just the one that's on that page. Like we're going to be building heaps of these for all different types of conversation scenarios. You're having this conversation, you get some options about where to go. Empathy bot gives you feedback about the skills that you're using, and whether it's making a difference. I was talking to a youth work manager recently and said, like, hey, something like that, what would you be expecting to pay? And he said, a resource just like that, I would probably, be paying like $30 a month just to get that out to my, for each of my team to have access, which is like, about $360 or $400 a year. And so like we're packing that value in. So not only do we have these video lessons, like maybe $600 of value, empathy bot at like $360 worth of value, like taking us basically up over like $900 worth of value that we're kind of packing into this. If you're sitting there going like, oh my gosh, is it going to cost me that? Like, no, it's not. We are going to tell you basically like we're trying to make this as accessible as possible because we want as many people to have it. So beyond empathy bot, we have even more that we're adding. So we have coaching Q&As. So what these are is you often feel like you just need another voice from outside your context. Other perspectives can be really good. So what we're building into this membership is every fortnight we're going to have coaching calls that will go for about an hour, where you can either submit questions in advance or you can jump on live. Our team and others will be there live, and we'll be answering your questions like about specific situations you're going through with a young person right now. And so those will be happening a couple of times a month where you can actually like get some outside perspective. And what's cool is that like that'll be perspective like from other members all around the world. We'll just create like an awesome sense of connection.
Nice, yeah, and I think that's been one of the biggest things that we've found is that actually being able to utilise each other's knowledge, and yeah, that kind of peer support between youth workers and or whatever kind of helping profession that you might be in. It's gold. We are certainly clear that we don't have all of the answers for you, but one of our talents is that we can bring that together and kind of mould that conversation really well.
Yeah, facilitating that, I think. Facilitating you guys to share is what's really important. I think, particularly in our context in New Zealand, we have a lot of rural youth workers who are working in isolation, whether that is literally really rurally or there is one person in your team. And we want to skill you guys up. Like, we've been to youth conferences where youth workers have said, I don't know who else to talk to. Like, I have no one else outside of this. And we want you guys to feel safe as well and confident and feel like you can bring those issues you might be dealing with young people into our realm as well.
Yeah. Like, this kind of expert advice is invaluable, right? Being able to hear from, say, these guys have been working with young people for decades, and then hearing from others as well and getting those other perspectives. Normally, like something, even a coaching call like that, if you think about other kind of like resources that you might use like that, would cost about a kind of $100 a session. And so, we're packing that in 2 coaching calls every month that you can jump on. Even if you just took one of those a month over a whole year, that's like $1,000 worth of value. And so already this kind of membership, basically like, if you kind of break it down, what we're putting into it already is like a couple of $1,000s worth of value into this thing. It's like we're really excited. It's kind of crazy, like what we're kind of going to be giving you. And then on top of coaching Q&As, we are folding in an online community. And so, if you want to reach out in the moment, you've got an issue with a young person, you just need advice, or you need a resource. This is going to be an exclusive community. It won't actually be on Facebook. The reason is we've talked to youth workers who want to kind of get it off Facebook because they feel like it's a bit noisy over there, and also they might have young people there, and they just want it to be a safe space where they can be open and honest and get advice. Everyone that's a member will have exclusive access to that community. You're right.
I think Facebook can sometimes feel like all of the rest of life is there, and sometimes you just need a bit of a different space to actually step out of that and just be supported by your community.
Yeah. So just that facilitating again, right? Like, just facilitating more spaces for people working with young people to come together and share your expertise and your knowledge and really do that peer-to-peer support. I love it. And the stuff we've already seen coming through has been really exciting.
And that sense of community support, I mean, that's not even something we can put financial value on, right? Like, that kind of thing is priceless when you feel like someone's actually given you the support you need in the moment that you need it. It's pretty incredible. And then, also in Live for Tomorrow guides, we will also have certification. So we know we want to kind of advance. People want to progress. You want to know that the knowledge that you're using is going to take you forward. We want to help upgrade your CV. That's what we'll be offering in this as well. And you go through this learning journey, the opportunity to be certified in empathy guided conversations. To be able to take that into the future as well, when you're looking for new opportunities.
I think that's hugely important. There's going to be a few kind of key steps along the way in terms of what the whole kind of package of training and content available will be, and after each of those kind of stages there'll be a separate certification for those. They look pretty good, they look nice, just easily downloadable wherever you are in the world.
And so, I mean, certified courses where you kind of get a certificate like that, will often, in itself add another couple of $100 worth of value on that. So, in total, we have the video lessons, we have Empathy Bot, we have our coaching Q&As, we have the community, and we have certification. Putting it all together, basically, like in about kind of $2,500 worth of value that we basically want to get you on board with and give you. Before I tell you about how to do that, I guess I want to ask a couple of questions, which is if getting aboard Live for Tomorrow guides, if that resulted in better support for one of your young people that you work with right now, maybe like think of a young person where you're stuck and you just need some extra support. would that make it worth it if it helped one young person that you're working with? If it made you feel more confident and calm in your decisions, just lowered your stress levels, made you feel like you're with a community of people that get it and are supportive around you.
Made you feel like you've got this.
Yeah, that's right. Like, would that make this worth it? And yeah, also, like, what about your knowledge and skills? We all have the opportunity to learn more. I'm always growing, learning so much from these guys all the time. If this, say, lifted it by 20%, would that make this worth it? I mean, we think it would. We think, that and so many other things is kind of what we're able to kind of offer. And yeah, we're really excited. We'd love to have you kind of jump aboard this with you and kind of make this together with us.
Totally. So yeah, how do people go about that? And yeah, what's the next step?
Yeah. So great question. Yeah, like we said, there's kind of a couple of like $2,500 worth of value that we're packing into this. The question is, well, why would we not charge that? Well, the reason is we don't really care that much about making money. We care about getting skills out to helping people. And so, yeah, we want to make this as accessible as possible. So, yeah, we have basically two ways for you to get aboard that. One is kind of an annual subscription, and one is to kind of pay monthly and cancel anytime. So annually, you'll get 2 months free. And what the cost that we've put on that is $99 per year. And we just think that is like crazy, like kind of accessible for like most people to be able to kind of get on board and be able to get like everything that we've packed in. Like the video lessons, like even the empathy bot, just everything that's in there. For basically $99 US annually. So you get kind of 2 months free when you do that.
Yeah, but we do also recognise that even that $99 US dollar amount is going to be a lot upfront for some people. It's so we don't want that to be necessarily a barrier for you. You may just want to kind of jump in, see what things are like, and kind of have a bit of a look around and see if it's going to be for you. And so we thought of a monthly membership model as well. And so where does that sit?
Yeah, so basically monthly, if you want to jump on monthly and just like give this a go, cancel anytime, it's $9.99 a month, which is basically like buying 2 coffees.
In
New Zealand. It used to be 3 coffees. But yeah, $9.99 a month for everything that we have just shared with you. The reason we're making it that kind of accessible is because our dream is actually to make Live for Tomorrow Guide something that's really huge. We would love to have thousands of people around the world who are passionate about young people joining this membership. And this is the very beginning. And so what we want to offer you is, I guess, the opportunity to join us as founding members. We feel like we have a lot to give, we hope we've shown that. We know that you have a lot that you can contribute to this as well. To be really clear, like, we're building this from the ground up. It's not going to be perfect outside of the gate. We want your feedback. We want your ideas. We want you to help us to make this our amazing community, not just something that you have, but like actually something where we feel connected, and it's our community, like the sense of connection and stuff that we are feeling here. Yeah, I mean,
I think that there was a question for us as to whether we charge at all for what we're doing, because to get this knowledge out to as many people as possible, should we just make it free? But actually to be relevant, to be producing new content that's actually going to be useful in the moment, it does cost, and we do put a lot of work into this, and so we need to be able to cover that to really keep producing really quality stuff for you.
Yeah, that's right. And like we've talked about we run Live for Tomorrow Chat, this online service. So the other thing is that I guess it's good for you to know that in jumping aboard this membership, like by you even paying $9.99 a month, that actually helps run like our service, which will be supporting more young people in over 55 countries, which is pretty cool. So if you're keen on that, if you're keen on jumping aboard this this journey with us, then here's how you do it. It's really simple. Just go to livefortomorrow.co/join. livefortomorrow.co/join. All the info that we've just shared here in the last few minutes, it's all on there. So if you want to have a look, if you have a boss that you need to kind of to have a look at it, I'll put that link up on the screen so you know where to go. So a few things about joining. So we will have content coming live in this membership from the 11th of November. So we are working incredibly hard to be just kind of building all of this in. If you're one of the first 100 members, so if you're like, okay, oh my gosh, like I want this, I need it, I just want to give it a go. Today we will give you the empathy bot. So right here today we will send you empathy bot. That by itself is just worth $10 to try it out. So we will give you that to be able to start using. The other thing I want to say is that these prices won't actually be the prices we're using going forward. It will be more expensive than this. And so this is like a one-time offer. We're $99 for a year or $9.99 per month. Those prices will go up. We're making it that price because we recognize it's a risk for people to take. But we really believe in what we're doing and we want you to be aboard this with us. And so, we've brought those prices down. If you jump in now, you will stay at that price forever. So regardless of whether the price goes up, so say, we discover that this thing there's actually a whole lot more value in it, like forever, you will be locked in at either $99 a year or at $9.99 a month. So like if you're keen on this, this is the moment to get on board with it.
And part of the reason for that is that we're actually to be able to get a first cohort of 100 or so people, that's just going to tell us a lot about are we actually doing the right stuff, have we got the right content, is there other stuff that you would actually much prefer to be looking at as we go.
Yeah, and I think it can't be underestimated how much we appreciate and want feedback and want your input on all of these things. The last 8 months I feel like have been leading, for me particularly, been leading up to this point, and we have done heaps of interviews with youth workers, with young people, with all over New Zealand, and their input is in this course, and we've literally built it around what they want. So we definitely want to hear what you want, because otherwise what's the point? It won't be relevant, and we want it to be as relevant as possible, because that's what we found as youth workers that we weren't able to get access to. I think as well, very quickly, for those of you that are team leaders, team managers, last year, had I had this opportunity to give my team ongoing training for like $100 a year, like I couldn't, like that definitely sits within a youth work budget, I think, anyway, and even the tightest of youth work budgets. And I think it's just such an incredible opportunity to really skill your team up, and not for all of their training needs to sit on your shoulders, I think.
Indeed. And I do want to speak directly to, I guess, for those of you who have kind of joined this live stream, who are interested in becoming a Live for Tomorrow Chat volunteer, this is the start of where you would go to be able to become a volunteer. Being able to come in, get through some of that training, to then be kind of considered for that kind of role of Live for Tomorrow Chat volunteer. This is what you need to be kind of in to start with. If you do make it through to becoming a volunteer, then the bonus is that all of this becomes free for you while you are volunteering actively with us, and we think that's pretty cool. Yeah,
that's right. So just to be clear, if you want to become a volunteer, then jumping on board on Live for Tomorrow Guides is what you need, because that's where the training, you're going to get that training. If you go on to becoming an active volunteer, then it becomes free. If you're a volunteer, we understand you're actually adding a lot to being able to support young people all over the world. So as long as you stay as an active volunteer, then you will get free access to this. Cool. So, I think we've really covered it. And we have a bunch of questions coming through. So, we just want to basically just run through those questions, because, we see that, people have different contexts and they want to hear about that. So we'll jump those questions. Before I do that, I'm just going to check our camera battery.
Sure thing.
Because we don't want to be cut off.
We'll just be here and, let's,
just like chilling.
Yeah, we're good.
Still looking great.
I think we're good.
Okay,
cool. Let's answer some questions. So we've had some people ask, is there like an organisation or corporate cost? In short, yes. So the way we have built this membership is it has scaling costs. So going forward, we will have costs if you are individual member, if you buy 2 to 30 subscriptions or 30 plus subscriptions. For this founding offer, basically anything from 0 to 30, we're doing at this $9.99 a month, or the $99 for a year. So yeah, if you have up to 30 in your team, then yeah, that's the cost. For those that want to say have over 30 people on board with this, get in contact with us. There's a link, go straight to my email on the website. And we can just have a conversation about that. We want to make this accessible. We want as many people to be on board with this as possible. So if you're one of those special cases where you have a lot of people you'd like to jump on board, whether that's 30 or say you're involved in a network that has like hundreds of people involved, then yeah, get in contact with us because we want to make it as accessible as possible. So that's that question. We've had some questions about kind of what the prices look like in different currencies. So we have 3 different currencies in which you can pay at this point. So for the US dollars, it's $99 for a year, $9.99 per month. For UK, what that works out to is £74.99 a year, or $7.49 per month. So you can actually pay in Great British.
In pounds.
In pounds?
British, I don't know. British pounds? I don't know. Okay. I'm not using it for a while.
Yeah, so. I feel like when I say it, I should be using like an accent.
No.
Don't do that. Okay. All right, I've been told off. So you can pay in pound. Those prices, like if you just click on the buy button on livefortomorrow.co/join, then it'll give you the option to pay in those other currencies. If you're from New Zealand, we're from New Zealand, so we have lots of people from New Zealand that'll be wanting to get on board with this. So there's an opportunity to pay New Zealand dollars as well. So that is 149 New Zealand dollars for the year, or $14.99 per month. So if you want to pay New Zealand dollars, you have the opportunity to do that as well. What I want to say is that you're our founding members, and so if you have any trouble about you need to pay in another currency, and that's kind of an absolute for some reason, then just reach out to us because we can do that. It would have taken us days to try and put every country's currency into the site. But yeah, if you're from another country and you're I need to pay in this country currency for a certain reason, that's okay. We're happy to build that in for you. So yeah, just flick us an email and we can do that. Cool. We've had a question. Will the content cover all the different issues young people face, or is it just mental health based? Really great question. Andrew, do you want to provide some perspective on that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the answer is yes and no. In the short, I think we probably view a lot of those other issues that young people do face as having an impact on mental health. And so certainly a number of things that we will be doing are framed from a mental health perspective and what impact those things have on well-being. However, we are really conscious that there's such a broad number of issues to cover, and so though you'll be getting the basics of what our approach to working around mental health is, we do dive into some of the really pressing issues that are here for young people, and so whether that's just things that they're facing in everyday life, some kind of traumatic kind of events that might have happened for them previously, whether that's kind of school pressures, uni. What else might we kind of cover in there, do you reckon?
Heaps of things.
We will be looking at diverse communities, so spiritual, rainbow, and ethnic communities, and how support looks like there. We'll be looking at a range of different mental health experiences, so trauma-informed care, suicidality, self-harm, domestic violence, abuse, drugs and alcohol. So we believe that kind of mental health kind of goes into all of those areas. So I guess the other thing I want to add to that is the reason we're making this is to help you. And so if you're there's something that I want, if we build this and the community says, okay, this is what we would like we will be going out to you and saying hey, what would you like us to work on next? And what you tell us is what we will do. And so if there's areas that you're my team really need this help. That's in particular if you have, if you've got a lot of staff, say you've got a team of 30 or 50, and you're hey, we actually want to upscale our organisation in this specific area. then that's something that we will do. Like we'll basically be creating like made for you content if you're an organisation that has a large number on board with us.
Sorry.
No, go.
So our goal initially is to be able to get you to have really great supportive and empathetic conversations with people, whatever kind of topic area that is. What we are going to be able to, what we can say is that it's not going to be all us presenting all this stuff because we just don't have all the knowledge, you know. So there's a whole bunch of different experts in different areas that we are dying to bring in and just to be able to present to you as well.
That's exactly what I was going to say. We are definitely not experts, and I think that's another thing that I want to make really clear is that we have our own experience and we're bringing that, but we want to bring everyone else's experience too. So the other people who are experts in the LGBTQIA sort of arena, in minority groups, particularly for us within New Zealand Maori culture, we want to bring that to you so that you can learn, and I'm just so excited.
So we will. There'll be lots of. We're really well connected, and in this kind of youth development field. So as we go forward, we'll be bringing in those experts to be able to kind of provide their perspective as well. Cool. If you do have any other questions, just pop them in the comments, and we'd love to answer them. We're going to jump off in a moment because we've taken a good amount of your time. Just to say, like this offer that we're putting out now, like it's a limited time thing. The reason is that we will be closing the offer, so when new members come in, we can just focus on making it great for you. So this offer is only going to go until the end of Thursday, New Zealand time next week. So, basically gives you kind of 5 or 6 days from now. And so, if you want to get on board, you need to jump in that time because you won't actually have an opportunity to do that afterward. We're going to have it closed. And the reason, like I said, is we want to make sure we're focusing on like building stuff that's really amazing. If you're one of the first 100 members, then today you will get the empathy bot. We'll send that straight to you. Even if you join as the monthly for $9.99. So, if you want to join, it's really easy. Just go to livefortomorrow.co/join. All the info is there. You can jump in on monthly or you can jump in on annual. If you have lots of team members, then contact us. We would love to have you aboard with this. We've never seen anything like this. We think that we can make a really big difference together to improve the skills of young people. Improve the skills of your skills so you can support young people. Which in turn, I guess, kind of improves their skills too. Cool. So, cool. Thanks for your question. And then, Neville, I'll reach out to you personally. Maybe we can have a chat about how this might work out for you. If anyone does have any questions, we're going to do some Q&As coming up. So jump on those.
On Tuesday, there's going to be like a walkthrough of some of the behind the scenes and what the content might actually cover.
Specifically for the volunteers, but for you guys too. On Wednesday, I believe, we're going to be doing a live cast with some interviews that we've done with some volunteers and their experience and how it's impacted their life. So please, this isn't the end of it. Like, keep watching.
Cool. Great. Well, thank you so much for being with us on this journey. Jump to livefortomorrow.co/join if you'd like to be a part of Live for Tomorrow guides. Stay with us. If you've got questions, send them through. Jump on the Q&As. Before we jump off, let's tell everyone about how they can get those free bonuses. So you've got them right there?
So the two that we had, one was our lovely illustration of the model that we've just gone through today, which you can see nice and close there, nice full colour, so a nice A3 print that you can either put on your wall or just kind of have as your maybe desktop background if you still use a desktop. The other one is this really cool, simple one-pager guide in terms of how to ask about suicide. We think it's one of the most passionate things that we are about in terms of supporting other people, these are just some really easy steps to do that safely. So
you need to go to the same place that Elliot told you. So you need to go to livefortomorrow.co/join. That is where you can get these downloads. They are there. definitely go get them. I promise you they're there. I checked last night. So they're there. Go get them. They're super useful. And yeah, I want to say thank you too. Thank you for listening to me and Andrew explain our model as eloquently as we could. Yeah, thanks.
It's been our pleasure.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see you again next time, hopefully.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, everyone.
See you around.
Bye.